A lot of people love to say, don't send the paragraph text. And I'm here to say, you have to air your exact grievance when you're walking away from someone. They have to know why. Because yes, there's something to be said about leaving them in confusion and they go over and over, why? But the thing is by telling them exactly why, they have an actual focal point. Otherwise, people will easily find the reason that makes them a victim of you. Most arguments are two people fighting to be the bigger victim. So when people act like don't send the paragraph text, it's like if the grievance or reason that you're walking away requires a paragraph, okay, it's the last paragraph you're sending, so it's fine. So I believe that you don't leave people in confusion. You leave them with exactly why, so that they know, and they can't make up a story where they're the hero or the victim, because we as humans always make ourselves the hero or the victim in the story. We're never the villain in our own story, but we all need more accountability and responsibility for our own bullshit, and that includes me. I mean, when I do something wrong, or somebody leaving me the paragraph of all the bullshit I did, thank you. I'm a Virgo. I'm going to take every detail in and analyze it and get better. I'm going to improve. It's only dark triad people who will deflect at all costs to the point of never having any growth, humility, trying to understand themselves and others to be better. So I say send a paragraph, send a voice file. And when you walk away, it's important to have a sense of resolve, and it's important to have a decisiveness instead of a little wavering of you almost kind of questioning, like, oh, why were you having sex with someone right in front of me on the dance floor? Like, well, there's no explanation for that. It's very clear. So for instance, I recently went through situationships. Both of them are very similar, mirroring each other. They're both kind of Mambo number 5 guys that have a harem of female friends. And when they use the term friends, they mean somebody who could be an ex, could be someone that they have had sex with once, someone they've had sex with 10 times, someone they met on Hinge. It could mean a variety of things, and I knew that it meant a variety of things because even though they told me, like, I love you, and I've met their parents, and there was a kind of relationship aspect to me, I was introduced as a friend, and then these other people, if I were worried about them, these other women, they act like, oh, well, that person's just a friend. And it's like, well, I know how you use that word, so I know that means nothing. And that's the thing is, by the time you are going to send a paragraph text to leave, you can lay out how the grievance as you want. Like, there's this kind of idea of running and not explaining and then they'll just know. A lot of people don't know. There's so many grievances, and then in their mind they are such a victim that they can't really see themselves even clearly. So you have to tell them, hey, that wasn't okay. Hey, I didn't like that. It can be a very simple thing. So this guy, he was dancing very sexually with another girl in front of me, to the point where I was crying in public about it. But at the time, I lied and said I was crying about missing friends. And then later on, we were at a person's house, and then the girl that he was dancing with went to the bathroom, and then he went to the bathroom, and I knew from everybody there what was going on, because she went to the bathroom and then he followed her. So I left the party, and then I walked 4 miles home. I was upset. And then right after all of this, I sent the walk away text, which was, I'm done with this friendship. And it's because you dirty danced with a girl in front of me, and then you followed her to the bathroom to either fuck or kiss, or you started something and you flaunted it. I don't deserve that. Especially when there's a level of intimacy that seems like we're building something, even if it's a situationship or a friendship, but there's still the mixed signal of saying that you love yous, introducing to family, like poor boundaries all around. And of course I take responsibility for acquiescing to bullshit, of course. But when it becomes the ultimate time when the bullshit has reached its climax, and you explain, there is nothing wrong with telling someone why they did it. Like, yes, I could have exited the party, walked 4 miles, and then never said anything to him again. And maybe it would have been clear, maybe that would have been more powerful. But for me, I'm a writer and I like to verbally lay out shit. So I think expressing the exact reason so that they know, and then yeah, they can waffle like he deflected and he pretended as though I was referring to another girl. And then he said, oh, she's dating someone. And then I even said, oh, I didn't realize that both of those girls were dating people. So that whole thing was a, deflection. And then he later emphasized, well, that he had the self-control to not have sex that night when I was there. He just waited until later. And I was like, oh my God, how noble, how magnanimous. What self-control. You waited and saved face. Of course, I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like, most people are gonna save face. So that's the point. That's how you walk away. You leave people with exactly what they did wrong. In the second Momo number 5, I had reconnected with an ex from 10 years ago. And then I saw that he was basically having 2 reconciliations from 10 years ago, me and this other person. And I noticed that we were just stacked right on top of each other, and then he kind of has the same itinerary for both of us. And then I realized, oh, I'm supposed to just go along and be a cool, like, oh, I'm so glad to be in the Momo number 5. Here's my role, here's my script, here I am, jump right in. And no, told him exactly what was wrong. I said, why wouldn't you? Also, it reveals how you know. Like, I knew when he was trying to keep this hidden because she posts every breath that she takes, so it's obvious. So sometimes people don't know exactly how much you know and what amount of bullshit that you see from them. So laying out exactly what's wrong. I don't like this. It's a simple phrase, but it's very effective. I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. Like with me, I said, I'm done with the Momo number 5. I'm putting my trumpet down, because this is the second situation I've been in with these murky harems, female friends. Like, I truly believe that instead of this idea of dating where you like grab a sample and lick every single ice cream flavor in the store at once, I believe in ordering one flavor and tasting that in its 2 scoops, seeing what that experience is like. And then once you finish that, you can then maybe either decide, that's my favorite flavor, I'm gonna keep eating that, or you decide to leave that flavor behind and get a new one. I believe that dating one at a time is more responsible. It's less, it actually improves your numbers also. Like, the numbers game, people are gonna know, and they're not only gonna know by feeling your leaky energy, they're also gonna notice you mix up things. They're also gonna just feel that scattered attention, and they're gonna see it on social media. I mean, it's such a risk. And whereas if you just committed to that of one at a time, you can ethically, really see that through. And then if that ends or if it continues, but if it ends, then you can reach out with integrity to the next person
you can even candidly talk about that experience. But when you're juggling, you can't talk about all these because you can't talk about it because you know it will offend people. And that puts you in the energy where people can sense that there's deceit, lying in terms of omission. And it's just a little bit more mature to date one at a time, I believe. So, yeah, and I also think it's mature to air your grievance with clarity, I don't like this idea that you just abruptly leave and never explain things, because they always have that in movies too, is people will never say what someone did wrong, and then they'll be confused for years, and they'll be writing letters every day, or they'll be doing something. It's like, well, if you just told them, hey, I didn't like that when X happened, I felt this way. It's easy. I mean, it should be pretty easy. The fact that I even have to explain, I shouldn't have to explain, because these are just basic consideration and blatant disrespect to almost flaunt another connection in front of me in both of these. But you have to say, you have to air your grievance with the clarity and why you're walking away. Otherwise, they will make up to themselves how they're the victim of you. And so you have to say, hey, this hurt me because of this. I didn't like that. It didn't feel good. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want to say it. Write the paragraph. Don't leave people in confusion, because more than likely they will make up a story in which you are the villain, and they'll still make up a story that you're a villain for not being cool enough to deal with your flaunting another person in front of you. It's like, okay, then go to the polyamorous pansexual utopia. Like, go then live there, but don't involve me in that chaos, and don't pretend that you're more enlightened, because you're not. Because having conversations about these and having clarity is what's mature and enlightened. And being able to do that and not deflect, that is enlightened. So I hope this helps, and I hope this encourages you to tell people what they did wrong and how it makes you feel. And don't guilt yourself and think you have to keep it to a sentence, or that you have to leave without anything. You can do what feels right to you and honor it.